Connor knew when he was really little what he wanted to do. And that, frankly, I think is one of his gifts.
Took such a passion towards hockey, and nothing's changed since. I mean, that's all I want to do.
He has the ability to change the game every time he's on the ice, and that's what his strongest attribute. There's not one other player in the world at this level that can do that every time, not 90% of the time, every time.
I'll be sitting with people, and he'll do something spectacular. And they get like, wow, did you see that? And I said, yeah. We've seen it a number of times.
He wants to win a Memorial Cup. I think he wants to win a gold medal for Canada. Those are, I know, his top 2 goals are to try to win for his team. And he wants to be the first overall pick in the draft.
To be the #1 pick, to be the best. There's no room for an error. There's no room for a setback.
It's the punch heard round the hockey world.
We got more on the Connor McDavid injury and just how serious it was. He saw a hand specialist in Toronto today, and we know he's going to be out 5 to 6 weeks.
Injury and stuff like that, it kind of puts you back pretty good, and I really don't know what to expect, and I guess we'll kind of just see what happens now.
How are you doing now, Connor? A couple weeks?
It's fine. Okay. There's no pain or anything.
Okay, let's have a look at your hand. Just spin your hand over so I can see the other side. And just try and bring your fingers down a bit. Okay, and how's this cast fitting?
It's okay. There's a pain in my wrist here, just because it's so far back. It's just kind of been a pain in my wrist a little bit.
Okay, does it slide?
Just
in
like
your hand? Yeah, so we have to change that today. So we're 2 weeks? 2 and a bit?
Yeah, 2 weeks. Okay. 2 weeks today. Never really want to miss games or anything like that, and it's hard to be away from the guys and stuff, but yeah, it's just part of the process, I guess, and it'll be nice to get back.
The other thing that we worry about with these breaks is that the bone becomes short if it's really bent. And if you just look across here, the length of the bones, I mean, your small finger is normally shorter, but it's not like it's sitting way down there. So that actually looks good. If when you bring your hand down, the position is still good for closing your hand, then we're just going to carry on 2 more weeks. Okay, and then in 2 weeks, we'll take the cast off. It should be healed enough that we can start to move it and let you start using it a bit, and then we'll decide about playing. I think the fracture's healing maybe a little more quickly than we would expect. It doesn't hurt anymore to push on the brake. 8 weeks would be typical before we let him go back to playing, and 6 weeks would be the best case scenario. So it's looking pretty good, actually. So let's have a look here. I'll just spin it over to see what the skin is like over here. Okay. Okay, I'll just try and close your hand. Okay, just close the other one beside it. Okay, and open. It's pretty good, actually, for being in a cast for a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's not as stiff as I was expecting. It's obviously not ideal, but if I'm able to play the World Juniors, then, you know, that's obviously kind of goal #1 here, but you can't really do that if you don't have your hands.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going. Big swing, big swing. Swing. Big swing. Big swing. Well, we get the cast off. We're excited about that for sure, and I think today he's been working on his endurance, you know, with Erie and his conditioning and whatnot. So, but today it was all about his hands. Small spaces, you know, in the zone here, putting some pressure on him to handle the puck at full speed. Through the open lanes and over the apparatus, that's what he needed right now, just to get comfortable with the puck. Well, you want to do both sides, your weak side and your strong side. So whatever you do in this one here, do it in the opposite down there.
So you want on the middle one, like, you know, the back end?
You can put it here, then reach, or you can go the other side. You're a lefty, so if you come through on your backhand there, then you're going to put the puck through here as well on the way through.
I've been working with Coach Joe since I was, probably 8 or 9, honestly.
Can I get your name and school, please?
Connor McDavid. Go to Premier Elite Athletics Collegiate. Yeah.
Nice. And so, how has Power Edge helped your lower body strength?
Just I feel like when I'm on the ice, in the corners, if the defenseman's leaning on me, I just have that extra confidence in my edges. I can just fight them off and get around them.
Today was just the first day that I skated without the cast, and kind of the only real chance to be on the ice before World Junior Camp. It's obviously still a little bit stiff, but for the most part, for being the first time on the ice, I was pretty pleased with it. Shooting the puck, there's no pain involved, so at this point, I guess it's the best I could ask for.
It's been great to work with him and watch him evolve from this little guy right here to where he is right now. In an hour and 20 minutes, I think he dropped the puck twice. Didn't miss a beat. Looked really good out there.
When Connor McDavid broke his hand back in November, the question wasn't when will he be back playing with the Erie Otters, it was is he going to be ready to play in the World Juniors? And it looks like the answer to that question is yes, as the 17-year-old hit the ice for the first time with Team Canada.
I think you guys are making a bit too big of a deal of it. I mean, I've been skating for 3 weeks. I mean, this isn't my first practice. I've been skating for fully for 3 weeks, so it's kind of just another day.
I think there was justifiable concern that he'd come back and not be able to play at the level his name and his reputation suggests he should be able to play at.
Everybody's sort of heard of him before. Maybe you've seen an Erie Otter game here and there. Maybe you've seen highlights of Connor McDavid. But this was the first time people were able to look at, a body of work of Connor McDavid from game in and game out that they hadn't seen before.
Got better as the tournament went on. All of a sudden, the elimination games come, and he's, scoring multiple points and starting to dominate again. And I think that was an amazing indication of what the capacity is, the kind of bandwidth we're dealing with here as an athlete.
There was that one play, the behind the net, where he faked to go around the net, and everybody bit, and he made this hard, one of the hardest cuts you will ever see, on a dime and spins and comes and feeds it out in front. I think it was at that moment that everyone in the rink and everybody watching on television said, this kid is exceptional.
All day I was nervous and, but excited at the same time. I mean, something that you dream of.
I guess the one way to describe the event in some level of surreal state is to be on hockey's greatest stage. In Toronto, the Air Canada Centre, being at home.
Canada hasn't won a gold for 5 years going into that event. It's hard to imagine a scenario where the stakes would be higher and the drama turned up anymore.
It was unbelievable just to skate out to see that crowd and then to score on the first shift. Anthony Duclair scoring that goal, I think just calmed our whole bench down, and then we were able to get a couple more.
Taking the lead, feeling that the game might have been won in the second period, and then knowing that the Russians could come back and be as dominant as they were, and then being able to regain your composure, to kill the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game off. It's one of those times where the country binds together in so many ways.
They kind of had a saying, meet at center ice, and Coach Grew and Coach Penny, that was his thing. That was what he was always talking about is, meet at center ice. And at first, kind of guys, didn't really understand it, but that's what he's talking about when we were gonna, meet there for the picture. There was, some pressure moments, and that second intermission was certainly a long one. But to finally walk away with it was something that I'll never forget. This is the gold medal. I don't know. Just keep that around. It'd be nice to have around. My grandma actually, she's takes so many photos, so she kind of was there for me the whole time and took some photos of the family and all that stuff. So nice little scrapbook that I'll be able to remember it for forever. So I'm very lucky to have family that support me all the way, and they even came to Montreal. And of course, with it being in Toronto, for sure they're going to be there. It's basically my backyard, so I'm pretty lucky to have them around.
It was the London Knights against the Erie Otters, but the way we positioned it coming off the gold medal for Team Canada was Connor McDavid facing off against Max Domi.
How hard is it to go from that and now go back to your junior teams? The adjustment, first of all, just the adjustment of going back to a junior team from a national team.
It's hard. I mean, I played in a game last night, and you skate out on the ice in front of 20,000 people there at Canada Center. They're absolutely screaming. You can't even hear yourself think. You skate out on a Thursday night in Sarnia, and it's a little bit different, and it is. And the energy might not be there, but at the same time, it's still the best junior league in the whole world, and the talent in this league and the competitiveness is very high. So you still got to be at the top of your game.
Connor McDavid and the Erie Otters go. The fans want to watch number 97. Maybe he's got some magic right now. Going wide, circling the net, and he scores. Of course he's got some magic. Makes the shot, instead passes over to Baptiste. He won't shoot. Gives it to Strome. McDavid, quick shot. Baptiste, it's in. McDavid and Strome will be in on this Nick Baptiste power play goal.
Beginning of the year, you look at our team and 11 rookies, and a lot of people have doubts in us. Being off for so long with the hand injury, and then with a combination of missing games because of World Juniors, I didn't get to see them too much, and you for sure miss them. We're a good bunch of buddies, and we're always having fun, away from the rink, and at the rink we're always working hard and trying to do all the right things. Have that combination, then you're gonna have a pretty good team.
Sends it into the Erie zone, and that'll do it. The Erie Otters with an impressive performance walking into Budweiser Gardens, a 6-2 win over the London Knights.
First time I'd ever seen Connor on the ice, but the kid was incredible. I guess he would have been 12 or 13 then, and I see this little fella. What is that? And he's probably the best one out there. He's out there with some older kids too, and I didn't know who it was. I didn't know his age, so I called my guy over and I said, "What is that?" And he started to laugh, and he says, "Well, that's Connor McDavid, and his brother is here, so he brought Connor."
Bobby Orr, the legend, right there in front of you, and then, he kind of followed me a bit, I guess, and, I finally sat down with him when he came to my house and had brunch with us, and, it was pretty funny. My mom was, going nuts with the cleaning and making sure that everything was spotless, and, sure enough, he comes and only walks from the front door to the dining room, and that's about it. So the whole house is clean, but I think he only saw about, 10% of it.
Pretty interesting experience when one of the greatest players ever to play the game, and your hockey hero when you were a kid comes walking into your house 30 years later. It's interesting, to say the least.
Connor understands that if he's going to be all he can be, then he's got to behave himself, and he does. I mean, I'm sure he's not perfect, but overall Connor handles himself so well. From the time he came into the league, I mean, I was in there one night, and USA Today was there, New York Times was there, thing. I mean, I could not have handled it, but he's handling it the way he's handled it. But back when I was coming up, we didn't have this kind of coverage. In my mind, what this young man has handled off the ice is incredible.
I'm always amazed at how this guy handles the attention. to be in that and live in that bubble since you were 14 years old, you have to be prepared for it, and you have to have your family prepared for it as well. The way he's handled all these situations, from the injury to the World Juniors, has been absolutely phenomenal. And maybe that's what changes the analysis of him, is that he appears to have the ability to handle all this pressure off the ice.
Sidney Crosby scored X amount of points in his draft year from Rimouski. But of course, you know, he was healthy and he played, and so now you're getting into points per game. And sure enough, when you adjust for the fact that Connor was hurt, his performance is right at the level of Sidney Crosby.
Gets another move towards the net. He scores! Connor McDavid with a 4-goal game.
I was writing about Sidney Crosby before he played Major Junior. I wrote a biography about him before he played an NHL game and got criticized for that. It goes with the territory. Of course you're going to get hammered for putting it out there that Connor is the next Sidney, in the same way that you get hammered for saying that, Sidney is the next Gretzky, even though it was Wayne who actually floated that out there, that one day this guy will break my records.
I don't remember it being like this until Crosby was probably the last kid. So, of course, there is an attention paid by corporate partners. We're trying to be very careful, because we don't want them to be not focused on hockey. That's the most important thing.
You nervous?
No, not today.
You're good? All right. I'm nervous about these questions that Joel's going to ask me.
Today's a really important day for us. It's the first day that we have met Connor, and we wanted to make sure that we welcomed him appropriately. We're looking forward to a great long-term relationship with Connor. The things we hear about Connor allow us to feel that he would be a great brand fit for us, and that we would be a great brand fit for Connor, and that's what we're looking for, to continue to build his brand in a positive way.
You guys play hockey?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where do you guys all play?
We're trying to
Oh, how old are you guys?
8, 6, 7.
6, just a little bit. Just to be a part of the Canadian Tire family and the whole Jumpstart program. It's something that, I truly believe in.
So, if you could have any superpower in the world, what would you have?
Outline visible. Kind of do business with a company like Canadian Tire, and it's pretty special.
Erie defeats the Storm 8-4. Behind a 6-point performance from Connor McDavid.
Talking to Coach Knobloch, he wanted to do something different. So I ended up going to a Halloween store and came across a real ugly suit. And it kind of had a superhero theme to it. Kind of call it Super Player of the Game. It's probably the ugliest suit I've ever seen, but guys will have to wear it out and say hi to their families, their friends in it if they're the player of the game. But it's an honor. The players, we got a good reception from it.
It's kind of just the thing that we do, kind of like your hard hat, but if we take it kind of the next level with this suit, and I look pretty stupid, but it's kind of all worth it, I guess.
Going into your draft year, you don't plan on breaking your hand and missing 20 games, but maybe breaking your hand was a good thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it gave you a little more rest, a little chance that I may have not gotten, hadn't I not breaking my hand. When I look back, it's been nothing but good memories, and having a good year with the Otters, and winning World Juniors, and hopefully a long playoff run and an OHL championship, maybe even World Cup. I don't know. I mean, that's up to us. The NHL draft is for sure, something that I have my eyes set on. Being close to Buffalo, I mean, the Sabres talk is always kind of there. I mean, you always hear, "I'll come to Buffalo" or whatever. I mean, it's pretty fun, and it's pretty flattering, of course, and humbling. But the draft isn't even the end point. I mean, that's kind of where all the hard work needs to start.
When you're talking about Connor McDavid, he's a generational player. Now, it's at this stage, you don't know what the future holds. But in his very brief time in junior hockey, he's established himself as being in that discussion with the best players who've ever played.
I've been fortunate enough to be around the greats. I have seen and been around Lemieux and Gretzky and Crosby. What he brings to the game is the ability to compete at the same level as those stars.
He's going to be a Connor McDavid. We don't do comparisons. I mean, I think that's silly. He's Connor McDavid. He's no one else.